Hey y'all, it's Pam with Living in Charlottesville. Thanks for stopping by. Today is going to be great. Today I'm going to talk about pros and cons of living in Louisa, Virginia. And no, I don't know why I did the accent, but anyways, you don't want to miss it. Let's go. Hands down, pro number one, cost of living. According to payscale.com, cost of living in Louisa is going to be 5% lower than the national average. So remember, when they're looking at cost of living, they're looking at across the board, everything from housing, transportation, groceries, utilities, everything, and then they give you the national average. So payscale.com gives big old Louisa 2 thumbs up. So before we see any more, let me remind you that if you're new to the channel, I would love for you to tap that like button and hit that bell so you're notified every time that I upload new material. If you are spending time with me, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I know there's a lot on your to-do list, and I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me, but I will also want to let you know that I would be very appreciative to be able to help you if living in Charlottesville or the surrounding area is going to be part of your travel plans and moving goals in any time in the near future. And I mean near future, I've helped people from moving in within 2 weeks up to 2 years. So we all know we all have our own time frame and our own timeline. Give me a call, drop me an email, shoot me a text, whatever's easiest. And then we will chat and see what is best for you and how I can best help you. So let's get back into the pros and cons. So con number one, we all know, I mean, you don't know, but I know. So a big con number one for Louisa is its small community size. Currently, it's estimated to be just shy, about 2,200 people. So 22,172 people. Now, why is that a big deal? Well, if you're looking for small community and more area, because it is a huge physical area, then Louisa might be a good connection with you. But it does affect things such as services. You're going to have limited activities for kids. You're going to have limited transportation options. You're not going to have certain activities, certain services that you would when you start getting into a much more active, larger city or suburban area. So depending on what your lifestyle is, Louisa might be a great fit. But if you're looking for a little more action and a little more population, it actually falls on the con side. Sorry. So pro number two is actually going to be, it has a really moderate climate. And I know I've mentioned climate with the others because we don't have the extremes in this area. Now, when you shift, whether you shift north, south, east, west, you're going to have some slight variation, but not much. The moderate climate for Louisa, average temperature of 56 degrees with highs of 47 in January and highs of 88 in July. So again, not way out of there and not real low, but you are going to start getting up there. There's a ton of green space in Louisa. There's still quite a bit of farming community, still quite a bit of forested area. So it keeps that temperature down, and you really do utilize that because you don't have to run the air conditioner as much. And if you do want to heat your home with wood, that is an option, things like that. So it all comes together, but moderate climate. Now, the other thing is, just in general, the area is not real conducive to snow. So being a moderate climate, if you're a snow angel And I know you're probably an angel anyways, but if you want to be a snow angel, this is definitely not the area for you. The climate, Louisa being east of Charlottesville. So looking at the map, if you think about Charlottesville, and then Louisa is going to be to the east, like you're going towards Richmond, okay? Remember that. The mountains are on the other side of Albemarle. So most of our storm systems come up to the mountains, and then they hit the mountains, the Blue Ridge Mountains, and they sort of dissipate or slow down or break up, is inevitably what happens. But for example, we just experienced, if you have a nor'easter, that's when Louisa will definitely see the brunt end of weather. And we just had a prime example of that last week. And currently we're in December of 2023. So last week there was a massive system coming off and becoming a nor'easter. It swooped down, came up from South Carolina, North Carolina area. And what happened was, when it came, it swoops in, and when it swooped in, Charlottesville, Albemarle, where I live, we all got, it was cold, but we all got a couple of inches of rain, which we definitely needed because we were running on a deficit. But Louisa, Richmond, and places east actually got snow. Richmond woke up to an inch of snow. Louisa got more of a dusting, like a half an inch, within the grass, and it was all gone and melted pretty much by lunchtime. But that would be a big difference. So Louisa had snow before we did, and we're closer to the mountains and everything. So if you're a snow angel, probably not the greatest place, but if you love that moderate 4 seasons to enjoy climate, Louisa might actually be a perfect fit for you. So coming up to con number 2 is actually going to be the poverty rate. Unfortunately, this runs about 18% for the Louisa community. Now remember, this is a county and a town. So for the entire Louisa, it runs about 18%. Why is that a big deal? Well, there's a couple reasons. For one, we see a lot of this poverty rate because there has been an aging population and a lot of family homesteads, for lack of a better term, where a home has been built by, say, a grandparent or a great-grandparent and has then been passed down through the family. That can lead to poverty levels of that. But it also does lead to issues that Louisa has seen with homelessness and also with food insecurities. Now, Louisa really does try to help out and do what they can, but unfortunately, going back to it's a small area, small amount of people, they don't have the services. So I have heard about people posting and reaching out for help that have insecure food sources and are actually having to deal with living in their car because they do not have a home, a stable, permanent home structure that they call their own. So poverty level is a little bit up, but with an area this large and with the location and the history, it actually does not surprise me, but it is a con. So pro number 3, that's actually a real big one too, and that's going to be the crime rate. According to niche.com, crime rate is ranked or is graded because everything's a grade, is graded and ranked at an A-. That's not too shabby. So Louisa, you listen to your rules and you go at it. You are a low crime area. So con number 3. And to me, this actually falls into, is it a pro? Is it a con? but I'm going to say for those who are currently living there, they would, I'm sure, definitely consider the con, and that is Louisa is slated as a major growth zone in Virginia. Where does that come from and what does that mean? They're expecting a huge growth rate and more population to grow tremendously. According to the Cooper Center at UVA, Louisa is on track to be the leading growth center in Virginia. Now, why is that? I think, again, goes back to some of the things we've already mentioned. It is smack dab in the middle of the between the Charlottesville, Albemarle, and Richmond metro area. So if you're right there, that means that people can easily commute to A or B or both. We actually see a lot of households where people split. One person works in Albemarle, Charlottesville, and the other person works in Richmond. So it is really, really being looked at as one of the hot places. We are seeing a lot of new construction in the Louisa area, and I think that's going to be very dependent, or that you're going to see how that responds with that growth center. Also, just that easy access with the interstate of 64. So again, it's going to be a huge growth. So whether that's a pro, I'm going to say it's a con, because we all know that rapid growth cannot always be pretty. So pro number 4, man, the schools. The schools are amazing. Actually, they are ranked very highly in the entire state. Currently ranked, last time I saw, was they were ranked in the entire state. They were ranked as at number 84. And that is really, really big. When you think about just in our area, you know, just there's 20 counties or whatever just in our vicinity. So then you start getting out into Virginia, Northern Virginia, down into Western, you know, everywhere. Louisa schools are ranked really, really high. So that is a huge pro and a huge benefit. I will share that I actually had a client whose son was involved with golf, loved golf, and he really was very, very good at it. So they actually moved to Louisa when he was, I believe he was a sophomore in high school. They moved from what a lot of people considered premium, which would be those out in the Crozet, Virginia area, Crozet, which is in Albemarle. And they moved to Louisa, and they heard a lot of grief and guff from friends and neighbors. But because of the golf program and because of the school system, they knew it was the right choice. And you know what? He just graduated this past year. He went on to phenomenal college with a scholarship. So yeah, his parents knew what was best, and they moved, and Louisa really did right by them. So con number 4 is going to be, because of Louisa's size, it is spread out over 500 square miles. This is going to be a hugely car-dependent area. You will have some specialty services that for, say, elderly and disabled, things like that. But again, it's going to be very limited. So it's going to be a largely car-dependent area. So that brings us to our last pro, which is a big one. Big, big, big. Even beyond cost of living. Pro number 5, and this I had to put on here because I actually just took a client out to see a home there in Louisa. But why wouldn't you want to live in a place called Bumpus? I mean, that in itself is just makes you smile. Yeah, hey, I live in Bumpus, Virginia. Oh yeah, it's in Louisa, Bumpus. Wait for it. The house we went to see, beautiful home, by the way, great cost, great, you know, sale price and everything. But beyond being in Bumpus, Virginia, it was actually, the address was Cuckoo's Nest Drive. So can you imagine how many times you would smile in your lifetime if you got to give that address? You'd be like, yeah, hey, can you go ahead and deliver that Domino's pizza to Cuckoo's Nest Drive in Bumpus, Virginia? That just makes me smile all one way and down the other. So Bumpus, Virginia, and if you're lucky, Cuckoo's Nest Drive in Bumpus, Virginia. So that brings us to our last con, and it's not a biggie. I mean, how can you top Bumpus and Cuckoo's Nest Drive? But con number 5, and this was slightly touched on before, but because Louisa is physically such a large county area, over 500 square miles, that means on average, because that's what everybody goes for, your average commuter time is going to be increased. So according to Data USA, the average commuter time for Louisa, Virginia is 26.6 minutes. Now, that's one source. If you look at factsbycity.com, it actually records the average commuter time as 38.6. So for us in this area, both of those numbers are almost double what we are used to. Now, if you're coming from someplace where you have to commute an hour each way in the morning and night, then both of those are going to make you very, very happy. And I can almost guarantee that your commuter time is going to be much happier going back and forth to Louisa, Virginia, and it's not going to be the gridlock traffic. That's not it at all. But it is going to be, because it's such there's not a lot of ways in or around. If you go back roads, it's going to be a little longer. If you go interstate, most of the time traffic moves and flows just fine, but your commuter time is definitely going to be on the increase. So there you go. 5 pros, 5 cons. Well, one con was a pro or a con. I'm going to let you decide on it. But there you go. Pros and cons of living in Louisa County. So Louisa, Virginia. Bumpus, Virginia. Is it right for you? I don't know. I can only give you the pros and cons, and I can guarantee you these are not going to be on the county's website for why they want you to come. This is not Chamber of Commerce, because I was not born to be subtle. So kids, let me tell you, if this is the right fit, great, fabulous. Remember, it is not me who's moving there, so I'm always going to look out for your best interest. We need to make sure, because this is realistically one of the largest purchases you're ever going to make in your lifetime. Even if you buy and sell multiple homes, you're probably not going to do it more than a half a dozen. So you do stuff day in and day out, month in, month out, year in, year out. But buying a home, you definitely want to make sure that you are working with somebody who has your best interest at heart. And I definitely stand behind that. It doesn't matter to me. And quite honestly, I've shared before and I'll share it again. I've actually had clients as first-time home buyers, because we get a lot of relocation. I love working with my relocation folks. I work with a lot of first-time home buyers, a lot of retirement downsizers, and next steps. Across the board, I enjoy all of them. But it's my job to make sure to point out the pros and cons of any house, anywhere, to make sure it's the best fit for you. So please send me a note, shoot me a text, give me a call, and let's chat and see if living in Charlottesville, living in Louisa, here, I'll do it in the best Southern drawl, living in Louisa or better yet, living in Bumpus is right for you. So stick around and watch more. There's another video coming up. Don't miss it. I'll see you next time.